Well, welcome everyone to Love versus Hate. My name is Anne, and I'm your old-fashioned nerd.
And I'm Emily, your mainstream millennial.
And on this podcast, Emily and I like to debate and argue about all the different things in life that we love and hate.
And normally we don't agree because I'm cool.
Yeah.
And Anne is cool in a different way.
I can't tell if you were saying that positively or negatively.
No one will ever know.
But today we have a special episode because we have a guest with us. Emily, can you introduce our guest?
Yeah, I have my husband Alex here.
Hello, everybody.
And this is exciting because we're talking about one of his favorite pastimes.
Oh, yeah.
So Alex, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, this favorite pastime of which he speaks would be World of Warcraft, the one and only. The best game ever invented.
Yep. So he loves World of Warcraft. He loves to ignore me while he plays. He plays with people all around the world, I think. And sometimes when he plays, he speaks in their accent.
She's lying.
No, it's true.
How would you know if I'm ignoring you?
Because I'm not ignoring you.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, this is so classic. I love it. But yeah, we're talking about World of Warcraft, but we have a really fun intro game that we're going to do. So Alex, what's our little intro that we're doing here?
So, I'm going to tell them which class and race I think that they would best enjoy or that I could see them playing as in World of Warcraft.
Okay, I'm excited about this.
And do you know what that means?
Yes.
Okay, because I've even played World of Warcraft for like a week or two, and I still don't know what that means. I know that there's like different types of creatures.
That's called the race.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then your class is like what style of combat basically you want to do. Are you going to use magic? Are you going to use a weapon?
Wait.
Are you going to use long
Well,
range?
where does that class?
See?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why can't they just say
You've
like
played the game and Anne knows
style
more than
of combat?
Because class is way cooler.
Nobody wants to say
Okay,
style
anyways,
of combat.
tell
Yeah.
us what you think we are.
So, Emily, I still think you're a druid. That's what she started playing as. She's a night elf druid on the Alliance. So there's also the factions, which is Alliance or Horde.
Ooh.
So, Alliance all the way. The Horde is for the birds. But anyway, that's personal preference. I've been playing the game since it came out in 2004, and I've never once played Horde, so that's just me. My friend Rafi, who plays this game, has played Horde before, so there's a kind of a clash there. But back to Emily being a druid. The reason why I think you would be a good druid is because they have different forms they can pick from, like feral cat, bear,
Ooh, yeah, that's fun.
a moon chicken, and you can also turn into an owl and fly.
What? I didn't know that. I did not do that when I was a druid.
You weren't high enough level yet for that.
Yeah.
I think you would be a moon duck.
I had the option to be a bear, a druid, or whatever the main person
The druid is the
is.
class.
Oh, or a cat. And I think I only ever went to the cat.
Yeah.
Wait, could I be a walrus too?
Yes, when you're swimming, you can swim faster and breathe underwater as a walrus. Yes.
Yeah, I only ever went to the cat because, I'm challenged that way. I forget all the buttons I can press. There's just so many options. Anyway.
You unlock more forms as you level up to the max level.
Okay.
But I think druid would best suit you because of your mood. So you could, depending on your mood, you could play whichever, because boom chicken, you can cast spells from afar. Feral, which is the cat, you're up close and personal.
I'm always up close and personal.
Yep.
I don't know if that was good to say.
And for Anne, I don't know what kind of race that you would be, but I do know that you would either be a paladin or a priest.
Oh, yeah, that's probably
What's
accurate.
a paladin?
So a paladin is basically like a warrior monk. So like you can heal, you can tank, or you can deal damage as a paladin. You can do all three different talent specs.
I think that's accurate.
And so they wear the heaviest armor and they're up close and personal in melee combat. And a priest is from afar, but it's kind of the same thing. You're casting healing spells and protecting the group, which is what a paladin does. Except it's from afar, and they wear light armor. So I don't know which one of the two, but I know you would be one of those two for sure.
I feel like I probably would be paladin. I usually tend to kind of get like, I like melee combat. Like if I'm ever playing any kind of shooter game, I'm just like, where's my sword? I just want to like hack at them. I don't want to shoot from far away.
That's definitely paladin then.
Yeah. So I think I'd probably paladin's fair.
So yeah, as for myself, I play pretty much everything since I've played since the beginning. I've done it all.
What's your favorite?
So it changes per expansion because I play high-end content, so I kind of have to play what's good at the time. But my all-time favorite is Warlock, which they deal disease damage and cast curses, and they also wear the lightest armor and cast from afar. That's my favorite. And they summon demons
That's
to
cool.
fight with them.
Yeah.
So wait, when you play, do you have like, when you're playing, can you be like, oh, I want to be the Warlock, and then like 20 minutes later, you can be like, oh wait, actually, I want to play this character instead? Can you do that within the same world, or what? I don't know how it works.
So every expansion, there's new content, and you have to reach a new max level. So every time I want to play a new a new class, every expansion, I have to level up that character all the way back up to the maximum. So per expansion, I generally only have about 3 to 4 that I play because it takes a lot of time to get the gear and the levels.
See, here's my thing. Every time that he talks to me about this, I just get more and more confused.
It's not that confusing.
It's because you don't give it a chance.
I do have to say, it was fun because I like going on quests and marking things off the checklist that it gives you. But sometimes I just like can't do them. And then I ask Alex for help, but he's busy doing his own quests.
I don't quest.
He's busy doing his own raids. And I'm like, help me. And he's like, I can't. And I'm like, I need help. I can't fight this person on my own.
I keep telling
dying.
you have to research. I research every class and spec that I play.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Only you don't have time for it.
Right.
You might be surprised, but I've actually never played WoW.
Wow.
I know.
You played D&D.
I know. Like, it seems like a perfect fit. I think the main reason I never played was because I knew I would just get sucked into it, and I'd probably just dedicate my whole life to it for the rest of my life. So I was like, well,
That's
I
accurate.
do have other ambitions.
I can attest to that. That's happened.
Yeah. Like, this is what I had to do to, like, continue playing. I literally wrote it down on my to-do list. Get to level 20 in WoW for 1 week. I would, like, set goals of reaching 5 levels a week.
That's very slow.
It was hard. I couldn't do it, and I don't play anymore.
So basically, right now in the current expansion, level 60 is the max level. And people who have been playing a long time can get from level 1 to 50 in 24 hours.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's just, to me, I just don't have anything going on in their lives.
No, it's because they research, they know the content, they know exactly which quests to do, which ones to avoid that take the most time, stuff like that, just from playing over the years.
Okay. So when did World of Warcraft come out?
November 2004.
And were you playing in November of 2004?
I don't think I played on launch, but I definitely played beginning of 2005 probably. My friend Devin actually got me into it. His parents played, and they got Devin into it, and then he got me into it.
Well, now I know who to thank.
So what is it that, like, keeps you so engaged? Like, what is it about it that's just like, I mean, you've been playing now for 20, well, not 20.
Almost 20.
Almost 20
Yeah,
years.
nearly.
That's crazy.
I mean, like I said, every couple years they come out with a new expansion. I think we're on like expansion number 7 or 8 right now. And within that, there's also updates throughout the years of the expansion that put out new raids, new gear, new dungeons, new player versus player arenas and stuff like that to keep yourself busy, and quests. I mean, there's all types of stuff that you can do you can't beat the game, essentially.
Yeah, it's like one of those where it's just never ending.
Yeah, because there's always an achievement you can earn. There's an achievement book in game that you can look at and get an achievement score. I mean, streamers stream all different aspects of the game.
Yeah.
Between raiding and just everything.
Is there lore? Like
There is. I personally don't follow it. I mean, there's like cinematics in the game while you're questing and doing the main storyline. So each expansion, you have to get the max level. Your first character that you level up, you have to go through the whole storyline.
Okay.
Or whatever it is, and there's like cinematics for each big moment in the story. I skip them.
I watched them, and spoiler alert, there's a bad guy who's trying to pretend that she's good, and she's actually not.
Yeah, I don't even know what
Wow,
you're
that was
talking
really
about,
accurate, Emily. Yeah, thank you for that. Okay, so because I've heard it compared to like Elder Scrolls. Do you think that's like a fair? Have you played the Elder Scrolls games?
I've played like Skyrim and stuff. Yeah.
Would you say it's kind of comparable or not really?
As far as like gameplay or just like lore and stuff?
All aspects.
Gameplay, not at all.
Okay.
There's way more in-depth gameplay in World of Warcraft, in my opinion. It's probably closer to like the Diablo games rather than the Elder Scroll games.
Okay.
If you've ever played Diablo.
I haven't. I've only ever played like in this sort of genre, like of what we're talking
Right.
about at least right now. I've played Elder Scrolls, and it's similar in that you have races, you have class, you're playing out an adventure, it's in this world, but it's not online. Well, there is Elder Scrolls Online, but like Skyrim was like, it's more single player, just like here's an adventure that you're playing through.
This is MMR.
MMR?
Massive multiplayer role-playing.
Oh. Sorry. I'm new here.
It's okay. I'm sure there's listeners who are also asking Emily. It's okay.
If you've ever played Guild Wars, this is a step up from Guild Wars, in my opinion. If you liked Guild Wars, you would definitely like World of Warcraft.
Okay. So why do you think it's so popular for other people as well?
I mean, like I said, you can pretty much do whatever you want. If you want to play alone in the game, you can go follow lore and do questing, earn achievements, make gold. If you want to play with friends, there's 5-man dungeons that you can do called Mythic Plus Keystone Dungeons, which is what I do all the time when I'm in the game room on the mic. So basically there's every expansion, there's a set of dungeons that have a couple bosses and a lot of like trash mobs in between the bosses. And you take 1 tank, 1 healer, and 3 damage dealers to each dungeon. So it's a 5-man team, and you can enter a keystone of that dungeon, which just increases the amount of damage and healing of everything in there. And right now, the top keystone completed is like a plus 26 or 7, which is 0.1% of the wild population.
Wow. Okay.
And right now, the highest I have done with my group is plus 18, which is about 5% of the top.
Okay, so we're talking to like a professional here.
Well, I could stream and do higher stuff if I had a group, but Emily would hate me even more, so I don't.
Well, yeah, that was one of my questions. Like, do people make money playing
Yes.
this streaming? What the heck are you doing?
You have to be able to make money streaming doing this. You would have to.
You can borrow my mic.
It's
I
not
just
a
need
mic
it for
problem.
Thursdays.
You would have to have set days of the week with all 5 of your compadres, and you would have to be banging out keystones and streaming. So I would not be able to have the job I have now if I wanted to become a professional streamer.
Would you though? Like let's just say in an ideal
I would
world.
love to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, you're just sitting on your butt all day.
Making money?
Being like, got me down, got me away. No, that's Call of Duty. Never mind.
Yes.
I don't know what you say. You just go.
Interrupt.
That's him clicking his keys.
So there's mechanics to every single raiding. So raids is a whole different ballgame. I don't raid that often, but sometimes you have to because it usually has the best gear. Mythic Plus Dungeons drop like the second to best gear. So raids can be between 10 and I think 30 people. You can have 30, and these are all real people playing together. So in a raid, if you're with 30 people, everybody has to do the mechanics correctly, or it could wipe the whole raid on that boss. So I don't like raiding with that many people. I'd rather trust a 5-man group in these dungeons rather than spend time wiping to bosses with 30 people. and wasting time.
So can you explain what a boss means for people who don't know anything about what this is?
So a boss is like
To me, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
basically gear. You get gear from killing bosses. So in a dungeon, there's usually 4 to 5 bosses. The trash in between each dungeon doesn't drop any loot. It just drops gold and stuff like that. But once you get to the boss has a set amount of mechanics that it always does in an order that's always the same. So once you run the dungeon multiple times with the same people, you can kind of stop using a mic if you wanted to, and everybody would just know how to do the mechanics.
So a boss is something that you have to kill?
Yes.
Yeah,
a
they're
boss is
usually-
the main enemy.
Yeah, and they're
In the
difficult. It's like,
Yes.
like in Mario or like literally like pretty much any game, there's like the boss level, right?
Yeah.
Like Bowser's the boss.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
where I stopped playing because I couldn't beat the boss.
You didn't
Yeah.
fight any bosses. You were just doing quests. You don't know what a boss is.
Okay. Well
So,
then.
do you think that this game in particular is only because it's definitely a nerd? I think tends to lean a little bit more nerdy, even though I wouldn't describe you as a nerd in particular.
I mean, that's debatable because I have friends that are the farthest thing from a nerd
Yeah.
that play this game
but okay,
many hours a day.
do
I
you
would
think
never
it-
guess that your friends would play this game.
I mean, being a nerd playing World of Warcraft, combining those two is just a myth. Like, if you've people that say that have just never played the game.
Okay,
It's simple as that. I mean, if you've played the game, you would not classify anybody as a nerd just for playing it.
So
It's just like Call of Duty. You don't call people nerds for playing Call of Duty. I mean, maybe you do, but
I don't think
Well-
you do. Do you?
No, I wouldn't call no. I think what makes it that nerdy thing is because it is like more D&D. Like it's got
Yeah.
race and class, and it's in a fantasy world.
That's true.
With magic. Like that's what qualifies it as more like nerdy.
Is it more nerd or more millennial?
I mean, I don't know. I know people I've played with are like 70 years old. So
Holy crap.
you tell me.
So it's a game for everyone.
Everybody. I mean, I've been playing with some of the same people since it came out, and now their kids play it, and I play with them and their kids. So I mean, it's kind of a good way to meet people and just hang out.
So it's more nerdy.
Sure.
Yeah, because that's true. Like Call of Duty, I wouldn't say like a person who plays Call of Duty is a nerd. I would say they're a gamer. But like if you hear
Gamer.
somebody who plays World of Warcraft, I'd be like, nerd.
Yeah. Well, Blizzard, which is the company that owns World of Warcraft, they hold competitions for rating, Mythic Plus, player versus player, and in all of those contests, you can win thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So,
Yeah, it is crazy.
but those are the top 0.0%, 0.05% players that go to these competitions. And like certain guilds are like world famous guilds in the game, which means they defeat the hardest bosses, the like world first kills of the expansion, stuff like that. Those are the people that go to these competitions and make all the money. So I wouldn't stand a chance in that.
It's crazy. It's crazy how like, ever since 2004 came out, when would you say that people were starting to like make money off the game?
I think they held competitions, right? The first expansion, it came out.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, player versus player was probably the most popular at first because at first they didn't have like Mythic Plus and stuff like that. That's 2 expansions ago is when Mythic Plus first came out. So not too long ago, probably 6 years ago is when that came out. So player versus player was the most popular way to make money before that and stream. So that's basically you're fighting real people. So I should have explained that player versus player is you're fighting other real people. And
yeah, other players.
Rating
yeah.
and Mythic Plus, you're fighting computer generated monsters and bosses that always have the same mechanics and in a certain order that you can learn.
Got it.
Player versus player is completely random. You kind of have to know what abilities that class has going into it. So like if you're doing 2 versus 2, so you would have a partner with you and you would fight 2 other real people. You would kind of have to know what their classes have and when to use your abilities based on when they use theirs. That's basically what player versus player is.
Okay.
Last man standing.
So who would you say is your favorite character that you've ever played in the game?
Well, my first character that I ever played, but the first character I had when it came out was a warrior, and I played that probably for 3 or 4 expansions.
Wow.
So I have the most play time on that probably, but I think my favorite is still the Warlock.
What's his name?
Blood Leader.
His name is Blood Leader?
You understand I made it in 2004 and haven't changed the name since.
So do you still have those characters?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I have every class in the game. I just don't have them all at max level because it's a new expansion.
Okay, so you like when you made a character in 2004, like you can still play that character.
Yep.
That's crazy.
In game, you can type /played and it'll tell you the amount of days or hours or years you have played on that character.
Emily, never look at that. Emily, never.
I will probably
ever.
be really depressed when I see that. I'll be like, you wasted that much of your life?
Please. It de-stresses you, the game. If you play with friends and stuff, I mean, it's a good time.
I don't know. It only stresses me.
Because you don't research and know how to play the class.
Yeah, so is this the answer to the question that I have? Knowing all the buttons that you need to press and when to press them.
There's a certain order for every class, depending on the situation you're in, that you have to press certain spells in that order. To be meta is what they use. The word meta is, it's basically you're playing the best class and you know how to press every button in this certain order depending on the situation. You're a meta player if you can do that.
Are you a meta player?
In Mythic Plus, yes. In Raid, no. Player versus player, no.
Wow.
I just love every time we say wow in this episode when we mean it as like the expression and not the game. But
I mean, if you haven't played it, I would definitely give it a try. I mean, watching it on YouTube is totally different than actually playing it yourself, especially at max level. Like, it's kind of boring at first because if it's your first character, you have to do all the quests to get to the max level. But once you're at max level and you start making new characters called alts, every character besides your main character is called an alt. You can skip a lot of storylines and stuff like that to save a lot of time leveling up.
Okay. How many characters do you have?
Oh, so I have probably 15 plus characters on different realms. So there's also realms in the game.
There's just so many different words you have to know.
So a realm is basically like just each realm can only hold a certain amount of players just because coding and stuff like that. If you had too many players on one realm, it would just crash every time. So there's probably 100 different realms, and there's more popular ones. There's like role-playing realms where people use that realm basically to just be on their own and just do the storyline and stuff. And there's also like popular realms, which is what I play on, which is more raiding and the streamers and that kind of, those people play on those realms.
And you can like run into these people at any, in theory,
if you go to the main city of the new expansion, there's hundreds of people just walking around and stuff like that, talking to each other.
That's the one part that's a little weird for me because I've never played MMO, and like I always just that kind of like idea of like I see a character on screen and knowing that that's a real person somewhere in the world behind like a computer. It's kind of weird to me.
Yeah. It's really helpful though when they help you kill somebody and then they're like, thanks, or like if you help kill somebody and then they'll be like, thanks.
Yeah,
and then
you
I'll
can
be
talk
like,
to each other.
I didn't know, I don't know how to say you're welcome back or to thank you.
You just press enter on the keyboard and type. Yeah, you can whisper people. You can add them to your friends list to play with them again. There's guilds.
So you can get invited to a guild.
That's
I got
exciting.
invited.
Did you accept?
Yeah.
Wow.
But then I quit playing.
Yeah.
So, do you know people in the game that you've only ever known online?
Yeah. Lots. Yep.
Weird.
Basically, the only people I know in real life that play are my friend Rafi and my friend Devin. That's it.
And then
everybody else is from other places in the
WoW
world.
friend. What's the furthest place away from someone that you know?
Probably, I mean, I play with people from Sweden, from Russia, from Japan, China.
That is
England,
one cool thing about it, I will say.
Australia.
That you can connect with these people literally around the world.
Yep.
Never meet in person, but you can become like good friends just through this game.
We use Discord for talking.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Sometimes I'll be like singing in the background and I'll be like, tell Emily to play.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. I told them, my friends that I do Mythic Plus with, that Emily started leveling a druid. They're like, oh, she could play with my wife. And then I was like, she quit. And they're like, what the heck? Now I got to play with my wife.
Now you should start your own little wife guild where you're all just like level 1. You just chat with each other.
We'll be like, hey, how do you get back to this place? I can't find it. I need to repair my armor.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could only play one game for the rest of your life, on Xbox, on computer, on anything, would it be this game?
Yes.
No hesitation.
No, none. Just immediate.
What about Call of Duty?
That gets old, though. Like, World of Warcraft, there's too much stuff to do to get old.
Yeah, you literally have been playing it for, I can do math. 16, 17-ish years?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah. If it's not old by now, then it's never going to be old.
As long as they keep coming out with expansions and new dungeons and raids and gear and transmogs, which basically means you can make your armor that you're wearing look like other armor that you've earned throughout the game, so that you don't have to look the same. If they keep coming out with content, then I'm going to keep playing it.
Lovely.
I don't know. I just don't think maybe I'll try it. I should never say never, but I'm just scared that if I just get sucked in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie. You're going to want to, when you're at work, you're going to be thinking about World of Warcraft sometimes.
I did have a dream. The day after I played it, I had a dream about my quest. I was like, this is getting to me, and I've only played for one day, and I'm already dreaming about it.
Well, see, and that's the thing with, like, D&D. Like, I definitely do that. I'm thinking about, this would be really interesting if this happened, or, this character would be really fun. Like, I definitely do that with D&D. Because, when you put yourself in this other world, there's just so much more to explore. There's so much more to envision and imagine, and it's just, it's really fun. Mm-hmm. So...
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd like World of Warcraft. It just depends on how much time you want to give up, basically.
I'm podcasting. I don't got no time.
Yeah.
She's podcasting. She's DMing.
Start streaming. But I would just say for those people that want to give it a try or whatever, just try to make it to max level, and then you can start doing some real content and get gear and stuff, because that's when it becomes a lot more fun.
And about how long does it take to get to max level? I mean, obviously it'll vary per person, because if it's Emily...
Yeah, I was going to say, years. If it's Emily, 5 levels a week, it's going to take a while. But like I said, if I want to make a new character, I could level up with my friends from probably 1 to max level in maybe 2 days, 3 days tops.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So for an average gamer, give or take,
that's not like playing like 12 hours a day either. That's like, 4 or 5 hours a day in those 3 days to get to max level.
That's still a lot of time.
I mean, yeah, but...
It takes me like 2 hours to get 1 level.
Yeah, it's because you don't know your class.
You also just are not the strongest gamer in
general. And if you guys want like physical proof of that, you can go to our YouTube channel, to our video games episode or bonus content, and check it out for yourself.
Yeah. We recorded it for posterity, how terrible Emily is at video games.
Yeah, having keybinds and macros and stuff like that in the game definitely makes it easier instead of clicking everything. Because if you don't have keybinds, I don't know if people know what that is, but
I don't even. That's actually one I don't know.
Yeah, you can press you can bind a spell to a button on your keyboard.
Oh.
So that you don't have to use the mouse and move and click it.
It's like hotkeys.
Yeah, hotkeys. If you use hotkeys, it's a lot easier to manage your rotation.
Know what that is.
Yeah, hotkeys then.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so we always like to end our episodes with a life lesson. So, Alex, what would your life lesson be to our listeners?
Regarding World of Warcraft?
Mm-hmm. Or this entire, anything we've talked about.
Well, I would say the life lesson is, if you have a wife or a girlfriend, just let them know right off the bat, if you play World of Warcraft, you're going to be gone for a couple hours here and there. There's nothing you can do about it. There's too much fun in the game to not play it, so just let them know what they're in for right off the bat.
I mean, it's a good time for me to get my reading in and whatever other hobbies I have. So,
Yeah, there you go.
Keeps you off the
good
streets.
balance.
Keeps me on the streets.
Okay, Anne, what about you?
I think my life lesson has to be, just because something is fantasy or it has race or it has class doesn't mean it's nerdy and doesn't mean that you're not going to enjoy it. Whether that's a book or a movie or a game or a video game, give it a try because that doesn't necessarily qualify you as a nerd. It's very, very fun.
In fact, Ronda Rousey plays World of Warcraft. Just so you know.
I don't know who
She
that is.
doesn't know.
UFC fighter, Ronda Rousey.
I don't know.
Champion, Hall of Fame.
Eh.
Oh,
She's super famous.
What about you, Emily?
My life lesson is to be patient when you don't understand things sometimes, and also to find somebody, not the internet, but somebody to help you to get out of those situations. I'm looking at you, Alex.
I don't know which situation.
That's what I was going to ask. What situation is he talking about?
When I can't kill the people who apparently aren't bosses, but are bosses to me.
I'm going to say the same thing. Research.
No.